good, guys? Welcome to another show. This is The Pulse. Let's Talk. My name is Mudhani Rongo, and I'm not alone. I have three guests in studio, and I want them to introduce themselves. Watuambie wanaitwa nani, wametoka wapi, wanafanya nini.
Music business.
Yeah. Karibu sana. This is the people who pay you, but next.
My name is Agnes. I am the A&R at Lundundo. I also handle A&R matters, dealing with artists from licensing all the way to partnerships. I'm also an entertainment writer, so I also handle a lot of, covering of what artists do behind the scenes. Yeah, just in the business, and I'm happy to be here.
All right, karibu sana Agnes.
Yes, I
Okay, great. And last but not least.
Yeah, my name is Ruby V, founder Uncut Africa. You can just Google us.
Where?
Yeah, we do hip-hop events, and of course the only exclusive Kenyan Hip-Hop Award show, Uncut Hip-Hop Awards, that happens every year. We're gearing up for that. Also gearing up for an event that's going to be celebrating 50 years of hip-hop on August 11th. Yeah, let's get into it. Let's chop it up.
Asante sana for being here. And as you can see, guys, the topic of today is the evolution of hip-hop in Kenya. More specifically, the Kenyan scene, yeah? And these are the right people to talk to because they're the ones who work behind the scenes. So without further ado, let's start. From Abbas Kubbaf all the way to Khaligraph. Let's talk about it all. And the people in between, including Kina Kampmula. Sijui kama mnakumbuka wale Kampmula wale.
Can even go further back and talk of Jimmy Gathu.
Jimmy Gathu,
Hardstone.
okay. Yeah. So let's go back to, is it the 2000s when Abbas Kubbaf was, me, I wasn't born, so mtaniambia kwa sababu I mean,
what?
Yeah, so let's talk about Abbas Kubbaf in that time when hip hop was happening, because there are a lot of people who say hip hop is dead in Kenya, but no, that's not true, man. That's not true. It started with Abbas Kubbaf, no?
Yeah, I mean, he was part of the first wave for sure. K-South, when he was together with Bamboo. Uko Flani were also in the mix. What was the name of the duo again?
Nanoma?
No. Nanoma is even a bit later. But during the K-South era, there was Kinaroba, Kalamashaka. It was Kalamashaka, K-South. Those I believe were some of the first guys. Late 90s coming into the 2000s. And they made an impact on radio, which was basically the number one marketing tool at the time, right? And the hip hop was conscious. It was a true reflection of the streets, and it resonated quite a bit. So I think right from jump, hip hop has always been a big part of our culture. Like looking back at the shows Kina Keishaka did back in the day, I believe they did I believe it was a Benson and Hedges show in Nigeria. Sold out like 50K plus.
It was 80K.
80K,
yeah.
And they represented us out there. So the impact from jump was just crazy, I want to say.
I want to say also, that time for Abbas Kubbaf, I think the hip-hop was about what's happening in the culture, the political, social, what was happening. Versus now, I think when I hear Ska Mkardinali, he's talking about, they're talking about their truth and what's happening in their world, right? But right now, when we look at the music scene, and I'd like to talk about what's happening right now.
Yeah.
Right now. Guys are saying, Mazi, the top 10, the most streamed top 10 artists right now are from Tanzania. So where did Abbas Kubbaf fall off, and why top 10 streamed artists are not Kenyan?
Okay, you guys want to go?
Because you said Abbas Kubbaf was the...
We've always had big impact.
Yeah.
I mean, even right now, Wakadinali are one of the most streamed artists in Kenya, for sure, right? This is a question that has a lot of factors to go into. I don't know if you guys want to touch on it.
I want you to go first.
Because you guys are the ones with the platforms.
Yeah, so I mean, there was definitely a shift. Kenyan music was at the forefront in East Africa and most parts of Africa, in the 2000s when we had the boom with, Caliph or Gopa and all these other labels coming in. Unfortunately, the business side of things slacked off. Most of those labels, most of the people in position at that time didn't further it. And I feel like the next generation had to come and pick up the pieces, so to speak. So there was a lack of continuity, right? And then we have such an exposed audience, you know, one of the fastest internet speeds in Africa, like, you know, we're so cosmopolitan, especially Nairobi. You know, you'll meet people from all over the world in Nairobi. So like you're dealing with a very exposed audience here. So as we took in whatever's happening in the world, I mean, fun fact, most of the genres in Africa, before they pop globally, it almost seems like a unwritten rule that you have to blow up in Kenya.
In Kenya, we are the queen makers.
You know, look at bongo, you look at Afrobeats, you look at Amapiano. Those things were big here, and then they blew up everywhere else. So I look at it as a double-edged sword. One, it shows that we are global tastemakers, but two, it shows that we need some sort of structure to put ourselves on as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ruby V, you've seen it all.
Wait, hold on. Before we get into the next question, you did say, you said Abbas Kubbaf, where did Abbas fall off? I don't think it's possible to quantify the impact our forefather has had on the culture. It's because he walked or he crawled that everybody else is able to do whatever they're doing today. He set the platform, he set the pace, and they were pushing that raw, authentic hip-hop that I think you can see reflected in what Wakadinali is doing. And this is the whole cluster of the folk. I guess maybe what we would need to do is fix the disconnect between the old school and the new school, because it feels like everybody is kind of doing their own thing. The new school maybe feel like the old school don't mess with it, but then in a situation where these two classes, schools, meet, it's so much love, and you can see the influence transcend from what they did in the 90s into what's happening in 2023. And I think that's something to be noted and applauded.
All right.
Yeah, and just to also add on that whole conversation, I really like what some of the artists are doing right now in terms of bridging that between the gap between the old school and the new school. You look at Kagwe Mungai's latest album, for instance. He involved a lot of legends. He redid some of the big hits in his own like current modern version. And also you look at just the impact people have left. I mean, Camp Mula was among the very first Africans to get a BET nomination, you know?
For sure.
And it's unfortunate we are so quick to forget the past, and these people really, really set the pace for what we have right now. And it's even amazing to see what Wakadinali are doing, you know?
Right.
They are setting
I love it
a
when you
whole
said
culture.
that there's a disconnect between the old school and the new school. And I'd like to invite you guys into the conversation. You guys who are watching at home, pengine kwa matatu, ama, I don't know, maybe you're at work, you're over here just watching kando ya screen. But we'd like to engage you guys, interact with us, leave us a comment. If you have a question, these are the people you should be asking. If you're an artist, these are the people you should be asking these questions, right? So we're here for you guys, and we'd like to see you guys interact with us. Share this live as well with someone who is at home. Probably they should hear what is happening here. Remember, the conversation is the evolution of hip-hop, and we're going to be talking about Uncut very soon. But before that, let's talk about now the new age, right? So, you know, I think hip-hop in Kenya is genge, kapuka, now drill.
What's up, Ruby?
Why did I know you were gonna say something?
You know, and why the different genres? Why mix genge into kapuka, now genge tone? Why all these different subgenres in hip hop?
I'd say it's just a form of expression. There's been a very popular debate, you know, going back to Kapuka versus hip hop with Kina Abbas, and now genge, and I mean genge tone versus hip hop type of thing. And it's always a debate of whether these subgenres are actually hip hop, right?
If we have a Kenyan sound.
Exactly, right? So my position is that it is, in the sense that, you know, these kids are expressing themselves through rap, right? The beats might be you know, a bit more danceable, but that's also a reflection of our culture, right? So I'm not mad at someone who's rapping over a gengeton beat being called a hip hop artist. I'm not. I'm actually for it. It gives us a signature type of sound that we can take globally if we really embrace it. And there's always been that divide, and you know, you know, these sounds. It is a part of us. It's who we are. And the kids are rapping, and they're rapping real good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's important just to have an identity, you know, a local identity, and come together and push it to the globe.
Do you think there's still time for us to do that now? Because like, if it almost feels like with trends and music and whatever, like you have to strike the iron while it's still hot. So these guys were doing their thing, and then the conversation kind of died down. Do you think like that's a conversation that we can bring back up?
Yeah, yeah.
And the hip hop purists, like, you know,
that's
you
gonna
know
be a tough one. I
yeah,
know.
exactly.
Yeah,
that's always the.
If you look at Afro beats, it's also gone through a similar curve. Afro beats started getting popular like 2010 maybe
2011.
P Square, Wizkid,
Burna Boy,
you know, and then there was a conversation of why are all rappers now doing Afro beats and back and forth with MI.
Before you finish your thought, something that I recently learned is that before Wizkid blew up, he was here.
Yeah.
He was here. He had a collab with Camp Mula.
With Camp Mula, the song was called Prices.
So
I met Wizkid at that time. He had the one song Hala It's Your Boy, you know, and he was partying at Skylax like a regular guy. And he was with Banky W, I remember.
He was signed to Banky.
Yeah, it was crazy. So even Burna Boy was active at the time. So they've also gone through the motions. Like, this is like 10 years of work, and now you see it as a global force. Right. So Gengeton is how many years old? Lambalolo is what, 2017?
2018.
Yeah, that's recent. Like,
5 years.
Like, this genre can still be worked. We've seen the potential. We've seen actually the crossover potential, especially in like Latin America. And in Europe, like the potential is there for this thing to be a global force. So I think it's about the music business executives, you know, coming up with a strategy and really pushing this thing, and putting some collaborations together, some marketing campaigns together for those different markets. And I believe we have something. We have the potential to, you know, 5 years down the line saying, hey, Gengeton is getting a Grammy category, you know, or Gengeton is on the Billboard Hot 100. It's a real possibility.
Yeah, for sure. I think that also happened with Nonini very recently. Genge was recognized by Grammy.
Yeah.
It was named, they introduced a new category, the Best African Performance. And, you know, in the description, it named a few genres that are in Africa. So Genge was named Bongo, Amapiano, Afro beats. Yeah, SA hip hop. That was strange though. I don't know why it wasn't African.
And Ghanaian drill, so it's like, what you talking about?
I was like,
yeah, there's a problem putting all those different genres in one category. But
it's a big step though.
Yeah, it's a big step in the right direction. We hope, just as you said,
more
to
inclusivity.
get a Gengeton only category, hopefully.
Speaking of Gengeton, there's been a general expression that sijui kama tunapiga Gengeton, hatutaki pengine it's deemed chafu, or why are we hating on our own, Ruby?
I really feel like it's the rawness in which the kids were expressing themselves. Personally, I'd say like when Gengeton was first hitting, I was like, I'm too old for all this ish. Like, I'm not in the club twerking and stuff, but like I was like, if I was in high school, this would have been my, you know, my jam, my steez. I just feel like it's maybe like a certain stereotype that people have, like these guys are from the hood and they're expressing themselves as raw as possible, and then they're young, and it's the what do we say, like, I don't want to call it moral high ground, but it's people pretending that they don't mess with stuff like they actually they actually probably do, or maybe looking at them sideways like, yo, are these kids allowed to talk about that? Like, are these kids allowed to be doing the stuff that they be singing about? But I think that the part where maybe we dropped the ball as far as Gengeton is concerned is like just giving the kids a little bit of guidance. as to how they could package themselves. And after that, what happens?
The category is promoted very well. The category performs well in app. I think the conversation is around management and labels. Because as a distributor, once you receive the content, you do what you can do to your user base, right? But it's bigger than us, you know. It's the live shows, it's the music videos, it's the endorsements, it's touring, it's publishing, you know. There's so many things they need to do. They need to travel. How many of these guys have left Kenya to go and promote their music, you know? So, you know, go here to Tanzania, go to SA, go to Nigeria, go to Ghana. Link with different artists, different media stations and all that. So that's what I'm saying, like from the management and the label standpoint, the execs, the A&Rs, like guys need to put in a bit more work to get them out there, you know, and yeah.
I can see Sage Ngangi is watching us. Thank you very much for tuning in. Drop a question, drop a compliment as well. I can see Calvin Kinoti is also watching. He's saying, love this. Asante sana for watching. I can see Becky is also watching us. If you have a question, guys, this is the time. This one is the time. So we appreciate you guys for tuning in. Make sure you leave a comment and a like. And of course, share this live. Ciphers, I hear you guys I heard you guys talking about ciphers.
Yeah.
And what's the importance of ciphers happening in the hip-hop scene?
Jeez. Cornerstone.
Because I know, guys like Khaligraph, that's where they came up from. Yeah, he has
a lot of people, actually.
Yeah, that's how he became a meme.
Yeah, Dana Cods, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. I think ciphers are a part of, you know, the fundamentals of hip-hop culture. This is where you go and actually spit to a couple other people, whether a cappella or on beat, and then they decide if you're really worth it. It's like getting your street cred, like this rapper can actually perform, this rapper can hold a crowd, this rapper got bars. So they're very, very fundamental to hip-hop culture. That's where you get to sharpen your blade, maybe because you've been rapping for yourself and your couple homies, then you get into the street and then you see like the competition is stiff, because hip-hop is actually a very competitive sport as well. So like I've always been for ciphers. I like hearing how differently artists would approach or attack a beat, where they let the beat breathe, you know, where they build upon, how they join their bars, how they translate the beat for themselves and what message they try to put across on the same beat, because then you get to understand how differently people think. And definitely ciphers are a very, very huge part of, I'd say, K-hip-hop, since that's what we're talking about. I mean, globally they are a huge part, and the good thing is ciphers are not just exclusive to, you know, rappers. There's also dance ciphers, breaking, shout out to all the breakers actually. There's breaking ciphers where they just go crazy on one beat. They form a nice little circle, just like rapping, but instead of the skill being the MCing, it's the breaking. So very, very dope. I'm a huge fan. I mean, that's how we started. We started as Uncut the Cypher. And that's this one thing that I never ever want to let die down as far as Uncut is concerned. Yeah.
All right, great. Let's come to you, Agnes. I know you write a lot about the entertainment industry and what's happening with us and our country in general. No, our music scene, right? It's about music.
Play KE ambassador.
Play KE ambassador. This conversation for Play KE, man. We've always been having Play KE conversations, but here we are again. Play KE. Right now we have top 10. All of them are not Kenyan. They're from different countries, and we love them. We love bongo. We love is it Afrobeats? Yes. And we love Afrobeats and we love Amapiano as well. But this conversation, Play KE, why do we keep on revisiting it and revisiting it?
What are these? And then now when it blows up is when now we're starting, oh, it's such a dope song. So every person I've heard play Geri Mengi after it was a hit, I tell them, but you were asking me, what are these? When I posted it when it was like, I think a few days or a few weeks old.
Right.
So we have that culture of not supporting our own. There's so many dope Kenyan artists that I interact with in my day-to-day job, for example.
And when you say support, define support.
Support is as simple as streaming the song. That's support. Support is as simple as showing up for these events. I saw Steph Capella talk about the importance of attending the small intimate gigs, and he gave the benefits vis-a-vis the big concerts that usually bring artists from outside. They are more intimate. You'll get your selfies with that artist. You'll get a better show because it will be very curated to suit that audience. You will meet like-minded people who love this artist's songs. So support is as simple as streaming the song on the DSPs. Come to Mdundo, download it. Go to Boomplay, stream it. Support is as simple as turning up for the shows, liking their posts on social media. I mean, that is enough support. And if we build that culture of supporting our own, I think there is where other African countries beat us, because they support their own. They know. You'll ask people, okay, let's even give an example of Khaligraph. How many Khaligraph songs do you know? You only know the hits.
All
because
of them.
Because you heard them maybe on radio or something. But they are really, when you listen to an album, for example, you go back to looking at Khaligraph's latest album, Invisible Currency. My favorite song on that album was not the hit song, because it's also an art. Take time to listen to albums. You'll find a song that will maybe, I don't know, for me music is
the gems, hidden gems.
Yeah. Okay,
hidden gems in
hidden
music.
Gems or but I'm just saying we need to support more of, and it's not just about the fans. I'm also looking at media. I'm looking at corporates, you know, put money in these artists' pockets. It's just about us saying, okay, fine, there's an artist called Caterpillar. What is he all about? I'm going to listen to him. I'm going to listen to Boutros. I'm going to, okay, this song is trending. What is it all about? Kaveve Kazoze, okay, what is it all about? You know, it is all about just playing the music and listening to it. Because Kenyan music is really good, especially our hip hop is.
You want to add into the conversation?
Yeah, just a bit of pushback, yeah. I think it's about intentional programming. And I also think that streaming leveled the playing field. And when the artists from other regions realized how lucrative this market is, they are very intentional in programming for our audience. And what does that mean? They buy ads, you know, they'll spend money on marketing, whether it's for radio, for blogs, for influencers, and all these things. They will intentionally program their stuff for this market. And I don't think the Kenyan artists realize just how much money is being spent so that people can reach our audience. And they need to, if you're competing, because it is a competition, you're competing for attention. They need to step up also. Because I deal with artists from all over the continent, 9 times out of 10, if I'm dealing with an artist from, you know, either West Africa or South Africa or Southern Africa, they have a budget for marketing when they're talking about putting their song out. With most of our guys, you know, they'd rather let the song do what it can by itself, organically, right? Which works for some people. Like Boutros has totally, his finesse on TikTok, impeccable. And he does it over and over and over. But that wouldn't work for everyone. So like also guys need to realize that it is a business and people are actually putting some cash behind some of these things for these things to work, you know? And that's another conversation I then take back to management and labels. You're competing with artists from all over the world. They all want Kenyans. They know how much they can get paid for a show here. They know how much we are streaming here. They want this audience and they're spending money to get this audience. And we have to do the same. Yeah.
I think on that conversation with Boutros, I think he also understood himself very early when he was getting into the game. Like, I'm making strap music, it's gonna be feel good. This is for, I think, I don't know if he thought about this directly or indirectly, but like this is for a certain type of audience. And then he built his fan base. Because since back in the day, when Boutros was still releasing his mixtape 6 views to 8K, you look at the crowd and a lot of them were women. And where the women are at, the fellas are gonna be there. And he capitalized it. He capitalized on it as a rapper, whereas you'd go to other rap concerts and the rapper is talking to other dudes and they're probably not buying anything. But Boutros's audience was like, it was paying fly chicks. So even when he makes a bad girl anthem for Angie, all the girls are gonna roll with it. And then everybody else is kind of gonna, where the honeys are at is we want to be there as well. So I think he also understood what he was bringing to the table. He's been pushing this trap agenda for also people who think that it happened overnight. Boutros has been, pushing the music for a very, very long time. I don't think a lot of artists also give themselves the patience to go through the motions and learn what needs to be learned through experience. You think, I have a hot record, my producer says it's hot, 10 people in the studio say it's hot too, so like when I drop this, it's automatically going to blow up on social media. And that's not really how it goes, because like Jinx said, it's a competition for attention. There's TikTok, there's Instagram. What is going to make me spend 30 of my seconds on your song as opposed to my favorite social media platform or my favorite artist that I already know,
I love that you
discovering
said,
that edge.
As artists, you need to roll with the seasons. I feel like also as Kenyans, we appreciate people when they've reached that destination.
Yeah.
Right? Like we don't appreciate them in the journey. Ukifika sasa Lupita, your hours.
I've been new.
Right? I feel like that's a thing with us.
It's a human thing.
Yeah, I think it is.
Because I feel like in Kenya, for us to be able to acknowledge you, you need to have been acknowledged somewhere else. And
Not always.
We then acknowledge you.
I'll push back, although I do understand exactly what you're saying. When certain people get, mainstream attention in other markets, then we're quick to be like, hey, ours. But you also have so many guys who just grew up with their own fan base, like Boutros is a good example, or Cardinali, Breeder, Khaligraph. You also have so many examples of guys who just worked and built their fan base, and eventually got there gradually. So there's two sides to it. I understand what you're saying.
It's growing pains. I think it happens in any business. Even when I was setting up Uncut, literally these guys are the guys that would have on our posters like Breeder, Boutros, Mandy, like all these guys. And every time that would happen, and I'd go into an office and be like, give me some money. Like, these are the guys of, these are the future of Kenyan music. They'd be like, how do I even pronounce this name? Like, who is this? But right now that they're popping off, they're like, okay, now we mess with this guy. Of course, I'm going to be at the front line. Like Aggie being like, I told ya. I told you. This was a start. Yeah, I was like, and I feel like also when Aggie was talking about the corporates, if there would be maybe someone in those offices who's like a risk manager or risk assessment or something, and then you can identify possible places where, because that's what doing business is. Like it's not always guaranteed that it's going to be a success. If there was someone inside those offices who's like, guys, let's take a chance on this person X, there's a potential here with a little bit of direction. They can, we can speed up their growth process. That would be, I feel like some of these artists would have grown so much faster. They would have been bigger much, much earlier. But, everybody's like, I don't know, like you have 500 followers. Like we're going to wait.
We need a music department in every advertising agency. That's actually what we need. That can fix a lot of things. Yeah.
I love it. Let's talk about beef.
Beef.
Yo.
Beef. I mean, it's been so long since we've had it's been so long since we've had like beef, beef.
I'm saying
it's
boring now.
Boring. Everybody's happy. Everybody making money. Like, come on.
Say hakuna beef. Ama kuna beef na
Mazi, there's no static. I don't know why.
There's really no beef. I feel like a lot of the people who would rile people up with beef are kind of comfortable right now. Like Scar would just be like, he just wants to get his
Brooklyn
drink.
boys have some beef though. I've been seeing subs going with
Natty, that crew for Natty. But it's not as strong because also they're beefing from like almost a bougie standpoint. It's like I drop one line, like subs. No one is really going in the studio like this song is dedicated. Remember like when Abbas did it was Okto who did Jerry Doobies. And then Abbas did his thing, and also Kali and Okto. It was fire.
Yeah, that was amazing.
That was a very good.
The best beef season, I think, like the one that really gets me excited, even whenever I think about it, is when Chihuahua came for the entire industry. You remember that DJ Loop mixtape he did with Kinana Noma and all those guys, Bamboo.
If you guys remember that, drop it in the comments. Yeah,
that was crazy.
Yeah, Chihuahua's introduction to the game, and that was similar to what 50 Cent did.
Exactly.
Yeah, so yeah, big shout out Chihuahua.
I think also Ska, when he was trying to establish himself, there's a Chachisha. On Chachisha he was like wanashindanga kikompea Abbas na Siski, Abbas Nyashiski, like he'd call them out on the records, and you even right now in the comment section you can see people from back in the day were like, who's this rapper? Like, why are you mentioning Abbas? But like hip hop needs that. It needs that little bit of fire.
Energy.
Exactly. We do need that. I feel, if Brooklyn Boys needs to get in there and do like a whole song, we are ready to receive it. Like, I don't even know what's going on over there, but I'm like, please tell me in the music. Like maybe I'll pay attention to the beef.
The beef between Femi One and Jerry. And I think it was really nice to see female rappers do it.
Yeah.
People tried to turn it into a gender conversation, but I was like, this is hip hop. This is how the culture is.
Yeah.
So it was short-lived, but it was good to watch.
Listen, man. Beef is a very good marketing tool.
Yeah.
Hip hop heads use it. Why not?
Come on. Yeah. We need that will these people ever see eye to eye? You see, like the reason why we talk about Cali and Octo is because to this day, we've never really seen them. Like, we might see a picture, but you don't know.
You don't remember, I think Jameson was a very dope moment because they both performed. That's the time Cali came out in a coffin.
Yeah.
Johnny Mazishi. So that was like, and it's because of that anticipation.
Yeah.
Or even when Abbas and Chihuahua had their thing and then they did a show together at Kani.
Abbas, Chihuahua, Bamboo and Prezzo. Bamboo and Prezzo went back to back, and then they did a couple of records. Those are classics. Like that music was the music that was made from that beef was legendary. So people need to get back in it. I feel like everyone is kind of very, very comfortable.
You guys are chilling.
Yeah, guys are.
They don't want to fumble the corporate bags.
But it doesn't have to get ugly.
It doesn't, yeah.
The recent conversation was about when you told me someone fumbling the corporate bag was the Coke Studio thing. The guys who were chosen were Khaligraph and Nikita. And there was this whole conversation of why Wakadinali wasn't chosen. I feel like that point is really valid. I
think if Cardinali keep this trajectory they're on, they're definitely going to be there next year. At a point you just can't ignore it. As long as the artist is having impact, I'm telling you, it does not matter what they do. As long as the music is connecting, they keep their fans engaged and they keep on growing their fan base, eventually you're just going to have to bring them in.
But I also I remember atastaki kutaja majina lakini there's mkubwa fulani pia called out the for, you remember the song, the what's her name?
Whose song?
Song iflani kaske vibaya uko kwenu. Hey, I remember the mkubwa. Why are we dropping names? Tutakuja na Land Rover hapa. But he called her out on her music.
But
so
this guy, does he really have any authority to speak on creative
the
issues?
Artistry, yes.
Because he's more of an administrator, which is not being executed very well. If you look at, even there was just an expose on Nation I read this past weekend on how the funds have been audited, and they found some discrepancies in the CMO. So those are more important things that he needs to deal with and not really talk about the creative side of music. And I feel like when he does that, it's like cloud chasing in a sense, and that doesn't look good on a grown-ass man.
And here's a fun fact, actually. If you look at the data from the top streaming platforms, Kaskie Vibaya is the only Kenyan song on the top 10s.
Yeah, no, it's going hard,
yeah. Dundo, I saw the
play. It's doing well.
So it is keeping Kenya on that whole conversation.
In the conversation.
Please, guys, let's give Saru her flowers.
Come on.
Right?
Saru, kai. So now I think it's only that time where we talk about Uncut and what events are happening, what's about to pop. Ruby V over here is gonna be telling us what's new with Uncut.
What's new with Uncut?
I know there's merch.
First of all, come on. This is ape-ish. Of course, that's not how I say it. I'm just saying.
Facebook.
I'm trying to be in the communications regulation. I mean, I run an organization called Uncut. Trust me, this is not how it goes down behind the scenes. But yeah, get you some merch. It's Uncouture. Yes, you know, play on words. Shout out to Talia. She gave me that idea. This is Ape-ish. That is one of our designs right now. We have a bunch of designs. We have Rough, Rugged, and Uncut, Hip Hop, New Culture, I Love. We have King-ish and Queen-ish out there. So like if you love that hip hop-ish, this is where you come and get your drip on. We do have the Hip Hop Awards that are happening in December. I'm very, very excited about that. December 9th, 2023. These are 2 members of the 15-member panel. Okay. I want to set rumors straight right now. I ain't got nothing to do with the nominees. Like, I've been called before, literally. Artists are like, how much money should I pay you? I'd be like, yo, sometimes you be looking at
Send them my way.
Yeah, you be looking at the budgets like, hold on, like how much you got first? And then I'd be like, nah, I can't do that, because the panel is what's deciding, like, you know, who's gonna be nominated. I have nothing to do with that. We'll definitely be putting out the metrics. I feel like maybe that's a good question, since we have them here, what like they will be individually looking at in terms of the nominations process. Nominations are all the way in, let's say, October. It's too soon, but like, you know, get your grind on right now, because what you're doing right now and what you have been doing will definitely matter in the nominations process. You can't just pop up in September and be like, yo, I need to be nominated for Best Male Artist of the Year. Like, that's not gonna happen. We introduced some new categories. One is already out. We have a Breaker of the Year. I'm excited to have the breaking community be a part of the categories. Breaking is actually recognized as an Olympic sport. It's gonna be competing in 2024 in Paris. So I'm finally happy. Like, this has also been a conversation. Like, I've been getting questions since the beginning. Like, yo, why don't we have a Breakers category at the awards? And I told them, like, this is a Kenyan Hip Hop Awards show. And I felt like a lot of the time the breaking community would rep more for like international songs, or, you know, like a 50 Cent record versus a Wakadinali. But I've seen the community has taken it up more. They're repping for Kenya more, so definitely we have to recognize them. This category is not out just yet, but like, since we're on this platform, I guess we could do it. Gengatone Artist of the Year. Again, okay, listen.
I fought for y'all.
Yeah, for real. I was just gonna say, hip hop purists. I know you might want to come for me, because we were teasing it. Guys were like, this is a hip hop award show. Gengatone, nah. So I'm just like, yo, if y'all don't like it, you know, there's some panelists here. We're gonna drop their handles, you know, attack them. I got nothing to do with it.
I have time today. We'll go back and forth.
Yeah, I was having a conversation with Hiram, who's like he's a legendary producer. He's also part of the panel. He did Angabanga by Abbas. Again, the connection of old school and new school. He was like, yo, you even did the Gengatone Artist of the Year before the Grammys even did it. And he was like, it's so cool that we had that conversation before, because if we would have had it after, people would have been swayed to vote yes for it, because it's already internationally recognized. That conversation that's always had. Shout out to Chiomio. He won Breakthrough Artist of the Year in 2021. So yeah, I'm excited to see how that goes. I'm excited to see how competitive it's going to be. Again, I got nothing to do with the nominees. Yeah, like, don't be hitting me up, please. Like, I just want to make it clear. So yeah, I think with, I don't know, we might introduce some other new categories. It's still a conversation that we're going to be having. But, you know, anything to do with Hip Hop Awards at Uncut Africa, at Uncut Hip Hop Awards is where you need to check it out at. And then August 11th, we do have a show coming up. We're finally celebrating 50 years of hip hop. I feel like we should have talked about 50 years of hip hop also. And how it's impacted all of us differently. I mean, obviously, we're not 50 years old. This is a culture that we bought into, we got to love, but it has impacted all of us in very different ways. always been pushing for Kenyan hip hop. So we do have a show coming up on August 11th. That is Friday, 5 p.m. to 5 a.m., 12 hours of Kenyan. Okay, it's gonna be all types of hip hop. I mean, I think I said Kenyan hip hop because it's in my subconscious, like it's automatic to me. But if you're celebrating 50 years of hip hop globally, we definitely have to appreciate the roots from what KRS-One did in 1973, from a back to school party to like it being represented all the way in Kenya, in Africa. We want to see what that's like. So obviously this is an open invite to all fans and lovers of hip hop culture in general, whether you rock with Gingatone, Genge, whether you rock with drill, boom bap, whether Wakadinali is your ish or Kahush is what you listen to. Like, this is just going to be a party where like good vibes and inshallah for everyone, and definitely representing all elements of hip hop culture. We're gonna have a breaking competition with a cash prize of 50K. And I love that we're gonna be doing that because this is sponsored by someone in the community, Hiram, and he has Jabba Juice, he has Got Juice. So he said this is gonna be the first edition, Who's Got Juice, Breakers Edition. He's putting 50K of his money in. And I feel like also, because I guess maybe, I don't know if we still do it, but when I was setting up in the game, people are like, oh my God, people are not really supporting hip hop culture. Yeah. But if we had people who are lovers and stakeholders in the game also decide I can put away my 20K, my 10K, my 5K, whatever, to just, kind of give back to the game, I think that would also go a long way. We also need to find a way where we can be our own saviors, like build they will come type situation.
Nobody's coming to save us.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, I'm excited about that. Tickets will be on sale on MOOC from tonight. 1,000 bob advance, 2,000 at the door. It's gonna be at Skate City, Parklands, the new skating rink. I'm super excited to see how that's gonna go down. Yeah. And of course, this is just a little step as we look forward to the main show, which is the Hip Hop Awards in December.
I can't wait for that. I hope I host that awards. But anyway, make sure you get your tickets for August 11th. It's gonna be a day party, no? You always do day parties.
And you know what? The funny thing is, every time I'm going to I'll be talking to whatever brand, I'll be like, it's a day. Then I remember it's 5 p.m. Yeah, I do. Yo, listen, those day parties bang so hard. We start from 12 until midnight, and it's usually such a good vibe. But now we're doing something different, and because it's a Friday, it's after work, we want to get it on the birthday of hip hop. I know there's a couple people who are doing stuff on the 10th or on the 12th, but it's not really hip hop's birthday if it's not on the 11th. For sure. So after you're done with work, stress, go take off your suit, get off all that corporate ish, get your bandana, get your t-shirt, get your Timberland boots, get your chains, and come. Let's vibe 5 p.m. To 5 a.m. Maybe if I don't know if we're gonna be able to do more hours, but that's my threshold. That's all I got. I don't have any more hours, but yeah, it's definitely going to be a good vibe. Everybody in the game is going to be there. I'm one person who's always been pushing for, we all represent for hip hop, whether you do drill, boom bap, you do, whatever. We all still represent for hip hop. We all more or less speak to the same audience. So if we can all come together and bring all these audiences with us and, just have a good ass time, it would be very, very dope.
All right, I love it.
Yeah.
We've had an amazing conversation about hip hop and just your last thoughts as we close the show. But I'd like us to talk about collaboration and the power of collaboration, as guys who sit behind the scenes and guys who decide who makes money or not.
Right, no, it's the fans.
It's the fans, yeah.
What?
What collaboration? What do you think? Are we having more collaborations or what's happening?
I think we're headed in the right direction in terms of collabs. A lot of, if you look at the hip hop part, there are so many, I wouldn't call them ciphers. But I mean, look at things like Avoid Those People. Those things that bring so many artists together, and each of them still manages to show us their unique. Yeah. So we are headed in the right direction. People are doing collaborative EPs, And yeah, the sky is the limit as far as that is concerned. I really wish we would have more with other artists from other countries, because that's a good way to introduce your music to that side. Because for instance, in Ghana, drill is very big. If we could have KE Ghana collabs, that would do a lot for the hip hop conversation, especially in this country going.
Yeah. So you're talking about like international collaboration.
Yeah, I'm talking because internally, yes, they're doing the thing. I saw what Uncle Jing Jong, Breeder, and Saru did on Breeder's remix. I mean, that's the kind of stuff we need. Oh, sorry, Mandy, sorry for Naipenda. It's called Naipenda. Yeah. That's the kind of conversations that we need. Okay, we already have them, but I wish we could have, you know, I don't know, Joe Makini from TZ doing something here with, I don't know, Wakadinali. Have those Ghanaian drill artists do something with Brooklyn Boys, you know. That's the kind of collaboration I'm hoping to see go, because it will change the whole conversation and infuse more cultures together and have Africa win.
Yeah.
And these artists are not even hard to reach. Honestly, if we're in a digital age where we're saying the world is a global village because of social media, like literally most of the corporate endorsements or whatever I've had is from sliding in the DM and being like, yo, I do this, can I have a conversation with someone? And Kali always posts like, you know, screenshots of I slid in someone's DM in 20 whatever. This is what's happening. He told me that's how he had the collaboration with Dax, slid in Dax's DM. So like, don't be, oh, I'm too big, I got 1 million followers, I got 100K, who am I to reach out to whoever? Because again, the conversation is bigger than us. We're facilitators, we're, you know, just a means to an end. If we could have these people who consider themselves in a certain position, just sliding in someone's DM like, I love your stuff, can we work on something together? Here's my stuff, I'd want to see you do something. That would be great. But I've seen like a few collaborations. I think Ska did something with Brian Simba. It's called, I think they did 2 songs. Yeah, and Brian Simba is holding his own as far as TZ hip hop is concerned. He even got like Ska down there to TZ to shoot the video. So, you know, can just find a way to get the in between, you know. It's just like an investment that you're making for your career. And I hope also more artists took themselves as businesses, you know. We're doing this for passion and we're doing this for fun. But if you can think about it as a long-term plan, you know, passion, they never pay no bills. Like, yeah, we need to think about how the money is coming in. Yeah. Even if your friend is the one who's producing the song for you, time is money, you're still spending time. Getting that equipment together still costs money. So you have to think about, in the grand scheme of things, you know, where do my chips fall? Yeah. Right.
So I usually ask this question.
Power of collaboration.
The power of collaboration. As you answer that question, I usually ask this question always. What advice would you give to someone who's watching and they're probably an artist, as you also answer that question for power of collaboration?
I think collaboration is very integral for your own artistic growth, for you to engage with someone else who can probably, you can pick a few things from as far as songwriting or arrangement or things like that. It's also very important to develop the sound further, and I believe that's what Gengeton actually needs. It needs some producers from outside of Gengeton to come in and collaborate and further develop it. So it's very integral. And I also want to take this opportunity to say, I don't know if you've heard, but Wiz Khalifa and Trio Mio have something coming.
Ooh.
And that is the power of collaboration. So we're probably going to see Trio, you know, go up another tier. I believe that song is supposed to come out sometime in August. And that's big. That's big. Possibly the first US-Kenyan collabo at that level, like mainstream.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited for that record, for sure. And for advice, for what? For artists?
Yeah, Msanii.
You have to do the work. You have to do the work. Most artists believe that it's enough to just be able to write a song and record it. It's not enough. There's a lot more work you need to do. You need to understand marketing. You need to understand publishing. You need to understand your business. You need to understand, you know, your live, how you present yourself on stage. And you need a good team around you. And then it's always good to know what to expect before you get someone to do it for you. So it's important for you to learn what a manager does, what a publicist does, what an agent does, what an A&R does. It's very important for you to understand these roles so that when you're recruiting, you know when you found the right person for that role. So it's not enough to just have a hot song, treat it like a business. You're the product, develop a team around your product, and just go hard. No off days.
Where can people find you, Olo?
I'm at Jinx Like. You can hit me on Instagram, Twitter. Now there's Threads, right?
Damn.
But yeah, I'm Jinx Like on most platforms. And I don't know, if you want to email me, my email is also on my Instagram. So yeah.
Agi, Agnes, your final thoughts as we close the show?
I really agree with what Jinx has said. Do the work. But I also think it's important for artists to take care of themselves. Prioritize your mental health.
Yes,
because if you're not okay mentally, you'll have these meltdowns on time which are detrimental to your brand. So take care of yourself. Make sure you treat yourself. Be in your baby girl era as an artist. Take care of your heart, take care of your mind, take care of your body, take care of your soul.
Yes,
and yeah, you'll be able to produce better quality things if you're in a good state. Yeah, and as for reaching me, you can reach me at Agi Opondo, A-G-I-E, not double-G-Y, A-G-I-E Opondo.
As if that's unique.
It's not that, it's because many people write it with a double G, and yeah. So yeah, that's how you can get me.
I love it. Last but not least.
I really feel like too many artists lack the vision when you get into the game. I feel like if you can begin with the end in mind, what is the epitome of success? Where am I at the highest point of my artistry? And then make steps towards that. You will always do something that will be beneficial to what I want to be Jay-Z, for example. Like right now, as you're working, I only record in my bedroom studio. You will always have a plan. Every day you will do something towards that. Because I feel like too many artists get into the game like, the homie said I can rap and I know I can rap. And then you do a song without really thinking about like, what is the grand scheme of things? How does this fit into it? Like, you know, all this time I'm spending doing XYZ, how do I make money back from it? And also strategic partnerships. You don't have to have 1 million followers to actually get like, you know, a brand cosign. Start within your community, you know, go influence for your local kinyozi, influence for your chips people. Start getting the fundamentals of digital marketing. How do I market? How do I speak to people while I'm trying to sell the product? As you're aligning yourself. And of course, you have to identify brands that align with your values and you align with their values as well, because it makes it easier to sell. I feel like a lot of artists also, or just people in general, think, I have to have 100K for me to now get it, you know, a corporate bag. There's so many brands out here that are looking for that and are actually paying attention to that, but we're scrambling for the top 3, top 4, top 5, and you know the top 5 are also scrambling for the top 5. So if you're not in that cut, then you're outside the conversation. Just, you know, broadening your horizons. What can I do? What can I do with this gift, with this skill, and how much further can I push it? What's the highest point I can actually take it? Reaching me, I'm gonna plug the business, of course, and I'm gonna plug my personal. The business is at Uncut Africa. If you're a rapper, an artist who wants to figure out, actually there's an open call right now for the Hip Hop at 50 open mic. Maybe we could get 50 artists to get 3 minutes on stage, because it's Hip Hop at 50. 50 is a nice little number. You can just sign up. There's a document that we're pushing out. You can check out our platforms at Uncut Africa. Sign up, and then we will make plans to accommodate you on the 11th. And yeah, that's how you can find us across all social media platforms, including TikTok. God damn, I guess a lot. My personal is at Just Ruby V. That's across platforms. Only email me if you got a bag for me. Yeah, but no, on some real ish. If it's anything artistry, Hip Hop Awards, you can check out the uncut pages. All our emails are public. All our accounts are also public as well. So it shouldn't be a problem to reach us. Now at least we have a team we have a bunch of people who can get access to who have access to the email, so you'll get responded to very, very quickly. And I just want to say shout out to everyone who's been supporting the movement from the beginning. It's not been easy doing this since 2016. It's been a journey full of ups and downs. I actually said, like, if stuff doesn't work out this year, this is gonna be my last year in entertainment. So everybody says
it's
that.
Make or break.
This is like do or die. But I'm appreciative to everyone who's really been pushing, everyone who sends out a message of, you know, keep doing the thing that you'll be doing. And yeah, I do appreciate it. Goes a very, very long way, because most times it's a lot of hate. People in hip-hop are entitled as hell, and they always have something negative to say, but not really contributing to the conversation or the culture in a positive way. I still like y'all, because it means you're paying attention. So that's like, let's keep at it. And yeah, make sure that you show some love to Uncut Africa, our Hip Hop Awards. Get you this ape-ish or any other designs, Uncouture, all that beautiful stuff. Thank you so much for having us. This has been a beautiful conversation. It's been dope, and we definitely look forward to having more of these.
All right, well said. You guys have heard it from the hostess's mouth. And we appreciate you guys for making time with us and tuning to the show, commenting, liking, and sharing this particular live. That is all the time that we had this afternoon. My name is Maldone Rongo. Peace.
Peace.